Okay, so what are you saying, people, and welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. So today, guys, we've got an important topic to discuss. It's all about take profit levels, how to find the best take profit levels, because we've already gone through a bunch of videos about entries and stop losses. So we know where we want to enter the market and we know where we want to exit the market for a loss. Now it's time to find out where we want to exit the market for a profit. I'll be showing you how I look to do it using take profits and using partials as well. And I'll be showing you guys a few examples, a bunch of pairs on Euro USD, USDJPY, current trade I'm in. I will show you that quickly. NZDJPY and EuroJPY as well. So we'll go through some real life examples too. But first we're going to break down the theory and then jump to the real life markets. If you guys are enjoying the content on the channel, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, welcome guys. So like I said, we'll go through some theory first, and then we'll take a look at some real life examples shortly after. So as you can see, the market's creating higher highs and higher lows here. So we anticipate the market to continue higher. This is bullish structure. On the right, we've got bearish structure, lower lows and lower highs. Here we're looking to anticipate the market continue lower, and we're looking to catch that next lower high for our trades. So this is where I'm looking to enter the market for my longs, and this is where I'm looking to enter the market for my shorts. Again, I do have videos breaking down on how I look to do that with my entries and where I place my stop losses as well. So feel free to check that out if you haven't done it already as well. But in today's video, just going to focus purely on our take profits. So my take profits are pretty simple. We have roughly around a 70% chance once the market does pull back in the bullish trend of us reaching back to the prior highs. Same for bearish trend as well. Once we do have that pullback, roughly 70% of the time the trend does continue and we do push back into the prior lows. So this is where ultimately my TPs are. But again, we don't want to be too one-dimensional with our trading, because at the same time we've got a good odds of the market coming back to the highs. You know, structure like this is not necessarily so straightforward in the market, as you guys probably know. You know, structure isn't just up down, so it's a bit more confusing, a bit more complicated, a few more levels to consider. So even though odds are in our favor, we don't want to be too one-dimensional. There'll be some times where the market's pushing bullish, it comes 5-10 pips from your take profit, reverses against you and comes and takes you out at break even, or even worse, as a loss. So with all that floating profit, it's nice to take some partials to close some of that profit off. It helps you hold the trade longer. If you take some partials, it will help you hold to the take profit. Some people become very impatient with their trading, holding to that final TP, biting their nails, itching, because they've got a lot of profit at stake, and sometimes price will pull back against you and just wipe all that profit out, which again is a part of trading. We have to accept that, but partials will help counteract that, as you can realize some of the gains there, and it'll give you a bit more confidence to hold to the final TP. Because best case scenario, it hits your final TP, take your profit onto the next trade. Worst case scenario, you take the partials, price comes back against you, knocks you out at break even, you're still walking away with a profit there as well. So whatever happens, it's a profit, whether big or small. So it gives you a bit more confidence to hold to your final TP. So it helps you psychologically, and it also helps with drawdown as well. If you're going through a losing streak, not seeing many TPs, those small partials, although they're small, they can add up and help kind of battle against the losses that you're taking. So the drawdown you see in your account is not as big, because they're kind of getting fought against with your partials as well. They don't necessarily wipe them out depending how big your partials are, but it will help counteract that. So it does cross a few things off the list with taking partials. The only real bad thing about partials is that it does minimize your complete reward that you get. Say if you're buying down at these lows here and your risk rewards are 1 to 3, instead of taking that full 1 to 3 there, if you're risking 1%, that full 3%, you might take a little bit less, 2.5, 2.6%, because you had to take those partials earlier. But again, it does help massively psychologically and with the drawdown as well. So I'll show you how I look to take my partials. Again, TPs are back at the prior highs. I'll show you some examples of that as well, especially with my trade I'm in with USDJPY. I've got 3 take profits for that one. So here it's just, again, bullish structure. The market's making higher highs and higher lows, but here I'm focusing a bit more on that minor structure as well. So we're looking at the major structure with these big swings, but we do have minor structure within that. Same with the bearish trend here as well, focusing on the larger swings, but within that we do have minor structure. And those minor structures make up for good partial areas, because if the market is going to reverse on us, this is a likely area we could potentially reverse from. So this is where we want to be considering taking some partials off the table, realizing some gains, and then potentially seeing, okay, is the market going to continue higher back to the highs, or are we going to potentially reverse back down? Whatever happens, but at least we're taking some profit at some likely areas the market will counter some friction. Same with the sells as well. This is where I'm looking to take my partials. Sometimes I might have two, like on USDJPY, where there's a few areas where I want to take some partials off just in case we reverse from those areas, if I'm having a bigger TP at play. And then again, final target back at the low. So taking profits is not too complicated with trend trading, because we're looking for price to return to the prior highs or the prior lows. And partials, we're looking at a bit more of the minus structure to take our partials at those areas. So I hope you guys understand it's not too complicated. If you need to brush up on structure, I do have videos on that. We're going to take a look at some real life examples now. Okay guys, so welcome to the market. So this is my USDJPY position. By the way, I'll do a full breakdown of the trade when I finally exit the trade completely. But now I'm just going to focus on my partial areas. So as you can see, this was my first TP, TP1. This was my second area, TP2, and my final area, TP3. I'm looking at a bigger push into the highs there. We've had this bullish structure of the low, the high, this low. I'm looking for a move returning back into the prior high, which is this daily structure here. So low, high, low, high. This is the higher low. I'm anticipating the market coming back into the prior high. But of course, I don't want to be too one-dimensional, like I said earlier, and just have a flat out target at the highs there. Sure, it's nice when price does go and just rally straight into that final TP, but price will counter friction, and there'll be some times where price just completely reverses against you. At least we can realize some gains along the way. So this is my first take profit area, the most obvious place to do it. Price is creating this bullish structure here on the full H. We've got this push, pullback, push, pullback, push, pullback, getting on the higher low there, looking for another push back to the prior high. Because again, we've got structure within structure here, so it's all relative. We've got a 70% chance the market will come back to the high. We've also got a 70% chance the market will come back to this high. However, the market could struggle at this resistance here and start to reverse, and then suddenly I don't have that bullish, that move to the upside anymore. So I want to be taking profit at those highs, because it's a very, very important area where we could look to topple. Here, as you can see, we've broken through that area, but I did take some partials and move my stop loss to break even. Also, you want to consider as well your risk to reward. You don't want to be taking your partials too early, which a lot of people can fall into that trap of, because again, impatience is a big thing. You want to take off that profit as fast as you can and realize those gains, but you don't want to take off too fast. You want to make sure you're waiting for good places and also good distance away from your entry. And I say this because if you're going to take partials and move your stop loss to break even, which is what I do when I do take my partials, at least when I first hit my first TP one, I will move my stop loss to break even and take partial at the same time. But I don't want to be taking partials and move my stop loss to break even too quickly, because number one, I'm just taking partials way too early, minimizing my risk reward just far too much, and the partial will be very, very small. That is, it's not really even tangible. And number two, I don't want to move my stop loss to break even too early, because I could get tagged out of the trade and price moves to my take profit. The partial system is purely just to take off some gains whilst we hold our trades for longer, not to just try and quickly trap our wins with the break even and quickly close profit, because you can fall into that trap. You want to make sure you're leaving some distance, making sure the trade's moving in your favor, and then you can move your stop loss to break even and not do it too early. Typically, for me, a bit of a rule I have is I must wait for at least 1-to-1. So if I'm risking 50 pips on a stop loss, price needs to be at least 50 pips in my favor before I even start to consider taking profit and moving my stop loss to break even. I found around 1.5 hours a good soft spot for me, anywhere around there. I think this one was like a 1 to 1.2, 1 to 1.3, actually 1 to 1.4. So this is when I start take my partials off, move my stop loss to break even, and then obviously looking to take a little bit more off the table, coming to that second TP area. Really nice support level, broke a lot of momentum. I haven't got the retest of it. There was a good chance the market is going to start finding friction here, see a move down, maybe retrace before it continues up. So I closed some more there, and I'm leaving the rest to run back to the prior high, which we're coming to the end of the week now, so it'll probably be something we potentially could do next week. But again, I'm not being one-dimensional. I'm taking profit, realizing gains, and it makes it so much easier to hold this trade to the highs there. And again, this is the 4H time frame. It's going to take time. I entered this trade on Wednesday. You know, it's Friday now. We're moving there. We're going to go over the weekend shortly, so that's another 2 more days I'll be holding this trade. You know, it could be a whole week that I hold this trade for, and within that week you can experience impatience. So partials is a good way to counteract that, and we'll see if we can get to the highs there. We'll take a look at Euro USD. There's a nice bullish structure here as well. The market's creating higher highs and higher lows. So you got into the trade on this low here. Again, where you're going to look to take your profit. We've got this bullish structure. We've got a 70% chance roughly the market will get back to the highs. So this is a good place to take profit. We've also got the higher time frame high all the way up there. So again, you can probably look to push the trade even up to the highs there, but you have to be smart with it. You can't just target that outright. You can do if you want to, but you know, you're going to experience some times where the market doesn't get to the highs and collapses on you. You want to be making sure you're taking profit at the right areas, and this is a good place to do it. Even some minor highs here as well. As you can see, we've got the bullish structure, high, low, high, low, high, and we've got some minor structure here as well. So this could be a good place to take some profit off there as well. TP1, TP2, TP3. If you want to have 3 take profits, or if you just want to have 2, you know, you can just have, let me move that out of the way. You can just have pull, push, pull back, TP1, TP2. Again, it's preference. There's not really a right or wrong. A lot of it is just experience and understanding your strategy and the returns you're seeing, and balancing out the strategy to, you know, complement yourself. Me, I'll probably just take it to 2 partials, 1 and 2, just because this first one's a little bit too shallow. Risk reward's not good enough for me. This is where I'll start to consider taking some partials off the table, and then I'll close the trade eventually at the highs there. Euro yen, this was a really nice example. I remember I was in Rwanda at the time, missed this trading opportunity, but it was a very nice lower high, moved to the downside again, pushed back down to the prior low. Then we've also got lows here, you know, I was considering to push the trade into, because we also do have this larger bearish structure at play. As you can see, larger bearish structure here, looking for a bigger pullback or push to the lows. But again, you've got to be smart with it. You know, this is a very important area. You don't want to be in a situation where you're trying to be a bit greedy, pushing the trade all the way down to the lows here, and then seeing that happen against you. You know, close your trades at important areas, or at least take partials at important areas. So if this does happen, you still walk away with a win. It might not be the full TP, but you still got something to show for it. And again, that helps with drawdown and your psychology as well. And we can move on to our final example on NZDJPY, which again, a very similar example to Euro JPY, which you just looked at. Again, we've got some really nice bearish structure here. The market gave us a really nice low to the downside, big impulse. It was quite corrected, but we did clear the lows there on the left. Then we had a pullback. So again, anticipating the market to come back into the prior low, which I would do as well. And shorting up at the highs here, fantastic entry, you know, great place to put your stop loss as well. But again, the market did reverse and come back against us. The market's not always going to be perfect. Sometimes it's going to do, you know, crazy movements. As you can see, the yen pairs are flying, and it's unpredicted. But we can counteract that using partials and making sure we're taking profit in the right areas. On the way down, let me draw a line because it's blue there. These will be smart areas to take our partials, you know, counteract that kind of possibility of the market suddenly reversing against us. And if it does like this, we can always walk away with a profit at the end of the day. And when it does hit final TP, you know, happy days, we take a bigger sum home. But taking partials and knowing when to take the partials as well, and also where to put your TPs, is a very important skill, and it allows us to be systematic as well with our trading. Know where we're going to enter, where we're going to exit for a loss, and most importantly, where we're going to exit for a win. So again, hopefully you found this video useful, guys. Again, if you need to watch it back and go and test things out, you know, make sure you go and do that. You can potentially, you know, take things and make it your own. But again, the fundamental concept is just playing with that structure, knowing our highs, knowing our lows, where to place our TPs, and also the right place for our partials as well. So if you have enjoyed the video, guys, please be sure to hit a like on the video. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't done it already, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any uploads or streams in the future. But guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you all next week.